All right, so vamos a practicar, clase, vamos a practicar. Okay. Bueno, all right, give me a thumbs up if y'all can see my screen. Today is an important day. I need everybody's participation today. Charlie, Melanie, Lay, I need your camera. Akari, Stacy. That's okay, Melanie. Gracias, Kamura, James, Dallas, Carolina, Priscilla, Nikki. Like I said, you guys are going to have time to do some work today. So for now, we need to come together. Okay, everybody, give me a thumbs up if y'all can see my screen and you're ready to rock. Okay, so let's talk about this real quick. So our verb tener means to have. Tengo, tienes, tiene, tenemos, and tienen. Okay. We've listened to songs, we've seen this before, we practiced with our house stuff, and we looked at like how to say I. Remember Hay, there is and there are, right? So hay una mesa en el cuarto, there's a table in the room, right? Like that's just a general thing. But if I have a table in the room, I can say tengo una mesa en el cuarto. That's showing like possession versus general talking, about things to say there is a table in the room. That's when we would use I, that Hay. Okay. So we're going to use tener when we're talking about possession, like to have. Tengo tres gatos. I have 3 cats. Ana tiene un hermano. Anna has a brother. Okay. We also talked about tener when we talked about how old we were way back in August, you guys. So tengo 17 años. Ana tiene 32 años, whatever, right? So those are the ways that we express possession, or one way to express possession, right? To say that we have these things. So what's important, you guys? Tengo, tienes, tiene, tenemos, and tienen. Now, I'm going to bore you with something, but it's going to be really important. So that's why I'm going to bother to point it out. Okay. Remember that we call these, I want you to take a look up here. We call these infinitives, or the original form of the verb. Okay. And I only use those words so that we can have a conversation about them, so you know what I'm talking about. And notice, you guys, if we were to remove this ER, because we're going to call this an ER verb because it ends in ER, right? So if I get rid of this ER, then that leaves me, this is super important, with this TEN, and we're going to call that the root or the stem. Okay, either word is fine. So I want you to notice a couple of things. Who can tell me which form of the verb changes the spelling of the stem? So looking at the chart, which forms change the spelling of the stem? This is way super important, you guys, so don't ignore me. You're going to not like that if you did. Okay. What 3 forms of the verb change the spelling of the stem? Right? This is the stem. Can y'all see that on my screen? Okay. So pop it in the chat or feel free to unmute. Which 3 forms, I'll say it again, which 3 forms change the spelling of the stems? Muy bien, Carlota. Be specific, because nosotros is plural also, right? So we need to be specific. Okay, is my question clear? I need to hear from as many of you as possible, because we're learning a new pattern. Patterns are Important. Okay, let me give you an example. So let me erase. Let me start again. Okay, listen up. This is called an ER verb because it ends in an ER. I want to find the stem or the root. So I'm going to get rid of this. Okay, I'm going to color it out. That means my stem or my root that's left is spelled T-E-N. But what I'm asking you to do is I want you to look at the forms of the verbs and tell me in the chat which forms change the spelling of the stem. In other words, which ones are not spelled T-E-N? Can you pop that into chat? Heaven? Perfect. Anybody else? Tell me in chat which forms are not spelled that start with T-E-N. Which ones have changed their spelling? Good. Arshis. Okay, Kimura? Anyone else? I want to hear from everybody. Nikki? James? See, this is how we fall behind, y'all. Good, Nikki. Because we're working on other things instead of paying attention to the new. And then we never catch up, right? Because we're always missing the new. Catalina, I want to hear from you. Dallas? Good. Priscilla? Lay? Stacy? Melanie? You can pop an answer in the chat. Charlie? Okay, so let's take a look, you guys, and see what I'm talking about. And the reason why I'm pointing it out is because this is never going to go away, and we're just going to keep adding to. So it's a new pattern, right? We learned patterns from the beginning of the year. This is a new one. So if this is called a stem or a root, right, you guys, a lot of our verbs are going to change their stem or the root. So notice, you guys, the tú, the usted, él, and ella, and the ustedes, right, are no longer spelled T-E-N. All of a sudden, we've added this I. Now it's T-I-E-N. Do you see that? T-I-E-N. T-I-E-N. So our pattern, you guys, that we're going to see is tú, usted, él, and ella, ellos, ellas, and ustedes. When we have a stem changing verb like tener, they're always going to change. So we need to have like an eye out for them, right? Because they're going to be rogue. They're going to go rogue. So it's always going to be the tú, él, and ella, and usted, ellos, ellas, and ustedes that are going to be rogue. They're going to change the stem, the way they spell themselves. Okay? So we got to have an eye out for that, right? Another thing is, see, this gets interesting, is we're going to call these go verbs too, because we add this go onto the end of our yo form. Okay, so you can see how we're getting more complicated than where we started right at the beginning of the year, right? The other thing that we need to point out is this. Let me erase. This is an ER verb. That's what we call an ER verb, right? And what we're going to see on our ER verbs are these endings. So yo is going to get an O. Tú is going to get an ES. Usted, él, and ella is going to get E. Nosotros is going to get hemos. Ustedes, ellos, and ellas is going to get in. Okay? So our ER verb endings, O, ES, E, hemos, and in. and we're going to practice these all the rest of the school year. But tener happens to be a goofy one because it's a go verb and we got stem changing and all kinds of things. So we have to really, really pay attention to our tener. Okay, clase? Everybody with me so far? Give me a thumbs up. Boring stuff, but stuff that we have to pay attention to. Otherwise, we're going to be all wrong. We don't want to be all wrong. Okay. All right. So let's go on. All right. So let's practice. So let's do the first one together. Ellos no something mascotas. So what am I going to put in the blank here for número uno? Very good, Carlin. Kamura, muy bien. All right, Carlin, can you unmute, por favor, and read us número uno? Very good, Priscilla.
Ellos no tienen mascotas.
Muy bien. Ellos no tienen mascotas. Anybody remember what a mascota is? You don't remember that word? Look like mascot, a pet. Muy bien. So they don't have pets, right, you guys? Muy bien, Carlota. They don't have pets. Okay. All right. We're not going to do all of these today. So I'm going to circle the ones I want you to do. We're going to do número dos, número cuatro, seis, siete, let's do ocho y 10. Okay, so 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, and 10. So I'm going to let you think about these, pop them in the chat like we always do, and then beware because I'm going to call on you. Right, so make sure when you put them in the chat that you number them, por favor. I'll give you a few minutes. Everybody should be filling in the blanks in the chat. Very good. Haley. I want to see answers in the chat, you guys, because I am going to call on you. So you're going to want to make sure you got an answer ready. Okay, number 10. Be careful with number 10, everybody. You guys are doing a great job, but number 10 is throwing some of us. Número 10. Muy bien. Great job, but be careful with number 10. Heaven and Kamura. This is why we use our chat as scrap paper. I want to hear from everyone. James, Haley, good job, Haley. Carlota, muy bien. No. Nope, keep looking. Haley, número 6 is plural. Hey, good job, Stacy. Arshis. Arshis. Muy bien, perfect. Perfecto, Arshis. Careful with number 10, Priscilla. Very good, Stacy. Let me see, Nikki. Nikki. Hey, Nikki. Perfecto. Good job. ¿Tú? Sí. Perfect, Haley. Muy bien, Carlin. Por supuesto. Okay, anyone else? You guys are doing a great job. Don't give up. Akari, Charlie, Dallas. All right, let's see how you did. Let's check answers, okay, guys? And then I'll call on you. So beware. Okay, número dos. Karina is the same as saying ella, right? It's singular. Remember, you guys, singulars on the left or here on top, plurals on the right or on the bottom. So, Karina tiene muchos primos. Anybody remember what a primo is when we talk about family? It's got family stuff in it. What's a primo? A cousin. So, Kimura, can you unmute, por favor, and tell us what it means?
Primos means cousins.
Okay, so what's the sentence telling us?
Karina has a lot of cousins.
Muy bien, yay. Karina has many cousins. She has a lot of cousins, right? Muchos primos. All right, muy bien. All right, let's go down to número cuatro. Nosotros. So nosotros is we, right? Plural. So it was either going to be either tenemos or tienen. You guys all guessed tenemos. Okay. Heaven, can you unmute, por favor? Read us número cuatro and tell us what it means.
Nosotros tenemos un perro, un gato.
Sí, y un gato, muy bien. So what's it mean? What's it trying to tell us?
We have is it a dog?
Sí.
Dog and a cat.
Perfect. Muy bien, Heaven. Okay. Nosotros tenemos. All right. Número seis. Oops, I will put the answer up. ¿Cuántos tíos tienen ustedes? ¿Cuántos tíos tienen? Because ustedes is plural. So who can tell me what this means? This is kind of a hard one. Yeah, very good, Kimura. Arshus, can you tell us what this one means? ¿Qué quiere decir? ¿Cuántos tíos tienen ustedes? You want to try it, Arshus? What do you think it means?
Is it like how many uncles
Hey, how many uncles do
you have?
you have? And because it's ustedes, we could say you all, right? So that we know it's plural. Muy bien, Arshus. Good job. That was a hard one. Nicely done. ¿Cuántos tíos tienen ustedes, right? How many uncles do you all have? Muy bien. All right, número siete. Do I have a volunteer for número siete? Kimura, go ahead. Número siete.
Yo tengo tres perros.
Muy
You
bien. Yo
have
tengo
three
tres
dogs.
perros. I have 3 dogs. Perfecto. Muy bien. Good job, Heaven. All right, número ocho. Número ocho. Do I have a volunteer, Carolina? How about you, Priscilla? Heaven, knock it out. Go ahead, girlfriend. Número ocho.
¿Tú tienes hermanos?
Sí, perfecto. Can you tell us what it means? ¿Qué quiere decir?
You have a husband?
You have
A husband?
marido or esposo would be husband. This one is.
A man?
Yeah, well, you're not wrong. Hermano is a brother. Remember that word, hermano. Yeah. Good. That's all right. ¿Tú tienes hermanos? Do you have brothers? Muy bien. Good job. Good job, you guys. All right. Then we had número 10. This one kind of threw some of us. Does anybody want to give it a try? Carlota, you want to do this one? Número 10, Carlota.
Martín y yo tenemos dos abuelos.
Perfect. Tenemos, you guys. Oops, where's my thing? Tenemos. Tenemos. Muy bien. What's it mean, Carlota?
Martin and I have two brothers. Two
Two grandparents. Very good, right? Or grandfathers or whichever. Yeah, however we want to translate it. It's good. So it's Martin y yo. You guys remember at the first of the year, me telling you anything with this and I, Martin and I is the same as saying we and therefore nosotros. Okay, so tenemos. You guys did a fantastic job. Nicely done. Okay, so it's not hard. It's the same thing we've always been doing. We learned that skill about how to pick out what form and how to make a match and use them and all of that goodness, right? Now it's just about figuring out how some of these things work. You know what I mean? Like we got to know that tener is a stem changer, right? That E becomes an IE in the tú, usted, él, ella, ustedes, ellos, ellas forms, right? So things that we have to kind of remember, okay? A little bit more. All right, you guys did a great job. Nicely done. Perfecto, perfecto. Okay. Next thing I want us to do, and I'm going to put some questions up on the screen. And I'm going to give you guys a choice. You pick one. Okay, it doesn't matter which one to me, right? And formulate in your head, or if you need to write it down or whatever, formulate a response, because I might call on you to answer the question. So let's try to do it without like my help, okay? So I'm going to share my screen again. You do have a little anchor chart to help you out. So notice there's numbers on each, at the end of each question, okay? And so that's going to be the quantity that they want us to use, because cuántos, how many, or how much. And since we're talking about possession, it makes sense, right? To say how many books do you have? How many dogs do you have? How many brothers do you have? Or whatever. So there's 10 questions. Everybody pick one. Just one. Formulate a response when you're ready. You can raise your hand, or I'll just randomly call on you. So make sure you have a response ready. Okay. I'll give you a couple minutes to think about it. Okay. Give me an emoji if you think you have a response that you're ready to share. Okay, Kimura, tell us what number you chose first of all, so we can follow along.
I chose number 5.
Número 5, okay.
I responded with yo tengo uno abuelo.
Muy bien, yo tengo un abuelo. Very good. Yo tengo. So remember, our yo doesn't get an I. Tengo, tienes. We do have to be careful with the pronunciation. Muy bien. Perfecto. All right, Haley, you want to unmute? Número 2. You're supposed to have 9 of them, Haley. ¿Cuántos tíos tiene Juan? Right? See the number 9 in parentheses?
I chose 2.
Mm-hmm.
Juan tiene 9 tíos.
Muy bien, muy bien, muy bien. Juan tiene 9 tíos. Right, he's got 9 of them. That's a big family, right? Okay, Heaven. So are we talking about them, Heaven? Am I included in that one? Okay, so be careful which form you're using. All right, anybody else want to volunteer? Heaven, I'll give you another minute, and then you just tell me when you're ready. Dallas, Akari, Lay, Priscilla, Nikki, you ready? Did you get it figured out, Heaven? Yeah? Okay, go ahead and unmute. Number 6, right? Okay.
Okay. Claudia and Jose. Tenemos. No. Tienen tres hermanos.
Yay, muy bien. Claudia y José tienen 3 hermanos. Perfecto. Heaven, good catch. All right, good job. All right. Stacy, you got one? Catalina, Priscilla, Nikki, James, Arshis. What number is that? 5? Okay. Good, Priscilla. So if we only have one, remember that it doesn't need to be plural. Okay. You see what I'm saying, Priscilla? Yes, perfect. Okay, go ahead and unmute Priscilla. Yay, good catch. I'm proud of you guys.
Yo tengo uno abuelo.
Very good, very good. Muy bien. Yo tengo un abuelo. Good job. I have one grandfather. She did number 5. Okay, good job. Carolina, Nikki, James. Carlota, did you do one on the slide? Okay, that's what I thought. Carolina, Nikki, you want to unmute? Did you do one? Pop it in the chat. Okay, it's 10 till. Perfect, Arshis. Let's hear you. Número 1. Very good. ¿Cuántos libros tienes? Very good, Arshis.
Tú tienes 6 libros.
Muy bien. Tú tienes 6 libros. We could also, for número 1, clase, if somebody were talking to us and said, how many books do you have? We could also say, I have, right? Tengo 6 libros. So that would have been a response as well. Muy bien, Arshis. Good job. All right, anybody else going to do it? Give it a try. Nick, how about you? Okay, very good. That's perfect. Tengo 6 libros. Perfect. Heaven, muy bien. Oh, Nick, I'm sorry you got the crud. Yeah, the crud. I got a little crud too. The crud goes around, doesn't it, you guys? Goes quickly. Let's see. All right, anybody else going to try one? Stacy? All right, I'm gonna stop sharing. Okay, muy bien. You guys did a great job. I am proud of you. I'm not just saying that to say it. I really am. Okay, we're gonna do one last thing with thin air, and then we're gonna switch gears a little bit. Okay, so we're gonna try this a little different. And I'm gonna show you how we're gonna do this. Okay, so take a look at the screen again. So you're gonna see the verb. You're going to see the word. Yeah. And what I want to hear from you guys is we're going to kind of do it backward. Is this the form that goes with yo? Is this the form that goes with tú? Okay. You with me, you guys? So you're going to tell me if it's yo or nosotros or ustedes or whatever. Okay. Does that make sense? You guys give me thumbs up if that makes sense. Okay. So I'm going to spin. Okay, so pop it in the chat, or you can feel free to unmute. What goes with this one? I'm kind of thinking backward. O, E, S, E, hemos, and N. That's what we got to remember. So what form is this? Which one does this go with? Very good, Heaven. Muy bien. Anybody else? Yes, muy bien, Stacy. You guys remember that chat box? That's where we make mistakes. We throw it's our scribble, right? Throw it in there. Very good, Arshis. Anyone else? Let's see. So we can say here, it's singular, right? Very good. Él, ella, or usted, right? Él, ella, or usted. Any of those three would be él tiene, ella tiene, or usted tiene. Okay, good job. Good job. Okay, let's try another one. Okay, tienes. So think O-E-S-E, hemos, and N. Perfect. Well, I can't really trick you guys. That's a good thing. Good job, Arshis, Carlota, Heaven. Good job. Anybody else? Nick? Oh, Priscilla. Presta atención. Gotta be careful. That S is tricky because it makes us think it's plural, but it's not. Huh, you guys? So, muy bien. So for those of you who said tú, you're absolutely right. You, singular. Tú tienes. You have. Tú tienes. All right, good job. See, that one's tricky because of that silly S, right? All right, we have tienen. So now what would we do? Tienen. O-E-S-E. Think of that chart, right, you guys? O-E-S-E, hemos, and N. So what would it be? Very good. Carlota, Heaven, Priscilla, muy bien. Anybody else? Tienen, you guys, would be plural. So it would be ellos, ellas, or ustedes. Okay? Muy bien. All right, one more. An easy one. Tengo. Yay. Psst, blow it up. Sí, muy bien. Anybody else? Good job, Priscilla. Arsha. Sí, yo tengo. Right? Yo tengo. You know, it's kind of like we had estoy and or soy, and we could say, okay, that yo form just flip flop the Y and the O, you know, oi, estoy and soy, right? And we can kind of try to remember this is the only one that ends in an O, like yo ends in an O. So that might help us remember. Okay. Yay, Arshas. All right, good job, you guys. Well, let's just do one more. Why the heck not? Let's do this one again. All right. What do you think? Tienen. Tienen. When do we use tienen? With who? Perfect. Perfect, Heaven. So with ellos, ellas, or ustedes. Okay. Great job, you guys. Give yourselves a pat on the back. Take a breath. I'm going to get my screen, stretch a little bit. Yeah, I'll get my screen all ready to go here, and I'll show you what we're going to do next. Great job, you guys. Great job. All right, I'm going to try to get my computer on student mode. So give it a minute. It's always got to think a while. Come on. Okay. Alrighty. So let me get your attention. And sorry, I'm still waiting here. Okay. All right. Let me get everyone's attention. This is super important. Okay. Super duper important. So some of you tried to turn in this interactive the other day. Appreciated, but we want to make sure that we're doing it correctly, right? So, ¿cómo te llamas? You put your name in here. Me llamo Bob. Okay. But here are the instructions. Complete the slides only with Spanish words and phrases from your vocab list. So no AI, no copy paste, no nothing. You can get anything you want from our Unit 2. You can get anything you want from the resource library. You can get anything you want from anywhere in Canvas. You can even ask me, okay? But I do not, it's not acceptable for you to copy and paste something and say that you wrote it, because you didn't. The computer wrote it, okay? And that doesn't show me any learning, right? So only from our vocab list. In the white label up here, you're going to put the name of the room or the location, okay? And you have to tell me if you know, is it L or La? So you have to include L or La. In the boxes that are blue, pink, and yellow, you are going to, you are going to label 3 items in the room. And then you're going to move the label to the item. So in other words, if you were to just go open a vocab list and type in 3 words, that doesn't show me, again, that you know what those words are. You need to move the label. I moved this label to the window. I moved this label to the roof. I moved this label to the door. Okay. Then in the bottom long label, you are going to write a sentence, and it can be a short sentence. It doesn't have to be, you know, a thesis, but you need to use ser, and you need to use an adjective, because remember, we use ser, yo soy, tú eres, él es, right? Ellos son, when something is permanent, when we are describing them, when we use color, when we use a big, tall, high, low, you know, wide, narrow, whatever words we had in Unit 1 in our adjectives to describe, those are words, you know, pretty, ugly, right? All of those things. And it doesn't have to be the truth. Who cares about the truth? We're just practicing words, okay? Making sentences. So make sure that you're following these instructions carefully, and then make sure, right? Like I did here, this is our example, and then make sure that before you turn it in, that you've checked it all. I'm here to help you. I can help you find the vocabulary in Canvas if you can't find it. I'd be more than happy to do that. Okay. All right. So this is a thing, because not only is it helping us practice our new vocabulary about houses and furniture, but it's sort of trying to put everything together, right? Because a reminder, on my sentence that you see here, casa is feminine and singular. Therefore, bonita ends in an A and is singular. Pink, rosada ends in an A and is singular. So remember that, you know, everything in a sentence has to match, right? Masculine, feminine, singular, or plural. Okay. So I'm going to give you time to work on that today. And then we do have a practice on thin air that I'm going to show you here in a second. So if you're in Canvas, you might need to refresh. I don't know. Okay. Again, we're in Unidad 2, Puerto Rico. And you should see this practica. Okay, you have some time to do the practica on tener. To me, I would knock that out today, since you did the practice and it's fresh in your mind. And then you can go back to the vivienda. So hang on, Kamor. So it's not a quiz. You have your form of thin air. And then all you're doing is matching, just like we've been practicing today. And in this one, you're actually going to type it in. So to me, the smart thing to do would be to knock out this tener while it's fresh in your mind. Or if you feel more comfortable working on the interactive thing, and then I'm here to answer your questions, we can do that too. Okay. All right. Give me a thumbs up if y'all follow me today. Yes, if we're good. So we need to stay in class. Okay. All right. Yes. So it would be masculine and singular, right? If we're describing the bathroom, then describing words have to match masculine, feminine, singular, plural. That's what we practice, right? Does that make sense, Kimura? Yes. Yeah, that's why we do these things. Okay, we try to put all the little random stuff that we practice and try to put them all together. Okay. All right. So work time, feel free to ask me questions about maybe where to find the information or what is, if you need help with something, right? Yes, you can use anything in Canvas. What I'm asking of you is not to Google Translate, not to use AI, nothing like that. Okay. Anything where the computer writes something for you is not showing me what you know, what you don't know. I'm going to say this again, you guys. There are several of you who think that it's okay to come to Spanish class and work on something else or not participate or whatever. This is not like an asynchronous class. Okay. We have to participate. We have to be active. And I will try to find a way. If I don't see classroom participation or if you're working on something else for another class, I will find a way not to count you as present. Right. If you're going to log into Zoom, you need to be ready to do some Spanish. Yes. Yes, Kamara. Another reminder, you guys, if you have late assignments, missing assignments, those are due because Friday is progress reports, right? So try to prioritize. Carlota, are you working on something? Yeah, yes, it's not really a quiz necessarily. Yeah, it just has to be formatted that way in Canvas. If you need help finding information, let me know. If you need a little jump start, let me know. Looks good, Stacy. Yeah. Looks good, Haley. Oh, thank you for reminding me, Priscilla. There's also, you guys, that listening story in the Nearpod. That's an exception. So if you want to say red, rojo becomes roja, but and rosado can become rosada. Mhm. Yeah. Hey, let me know if I can help with anything. I'll be more than happy to help you find stuff, answer your questions. Correct. Correct. Mhm. Okay, we have about a minute. Does anybody have any questions? Something last minute before we go for the end of class? Okay, anyone else? Okay, you guys, try to get as much done as you can. Like I said, tomorrow's progress reports. If you have a question, please reach out. You guys did a great job today with the nair. Be proud. Be proud of yourselves. Pat yourselves on the back. You did a great job. Okay, we have a few more seconds left. Hang out. Dot your I's, cross your T's. All right, so vamos a tratar. All right, you guys have a great day. Nos vemos lunes. See you Monday. Adios a todos. Have a great weekend. Stay safe. Gracias, Heaven. Stay safe, you guys. Enjoy. Adios. Adios. Good job.